And man, we would just annihilate her. Like, no, there was no pity given. She would start sobbing because we weren't letting her win, or we were just fucking, bankrupting her right away.
I do remember that being like a warning.
We used to be kids. Now we're not. Something happened in between. This is the Broken Youth Club.
And so that was the first year that I felt like we really took on this idea of we have to do all of it. We have to hit all the things because we can't rely on dropping them off at Mama's house to make gingerbread cookies, or we can't rely on dropping them off at my parents' house to have, like waffles or make cookies for Santa or food for the reindeer. Like we have to do all of it, which can feel a little intimidating, but I felt like, if I remember right, last year, it didn't end up feeling as overwhelming as I thought it was going to feel.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that each year, as the kids get older, as I hopefully feel a little less stressed, it'll just kind of get a little easier.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I will say we got out and that neighborhood that we walked through that had all the lights in it. That was fun.
That was cute.
I'm trying to enjoy doing more of those things. Or like right after we record this, we're going to go try to make a thing of it, but like get a treat and drive around and try to find another neighborhood with some Christmas lights and just...
Depending on how far you want to go, we could try to drive over to, I don't know if it's... Anybody in Spokane, feel free to write in and correct me. I don't know if it's Menudo or Manitou Park, but we went, I think it was last year, they had like the drive-through Christmas lights, but there's also all of those really cool old houses in like that South Hill area of Spokane. I bet that like a lot of those have good Christmas lights, but that's like a 20-minute drive.
I'm okay with that.
Cool.
I always loved driving around. I was just talking to your dad about that one house in Spencer when we grew up. Every single year it was a thing. Like we looked forward to going to this person's specific house because it was like you entered on one side of the property and kind of looped around and then came out on the other side of the property. But it's like this dude lived for when it was time to bring out the Christmas decorations. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to see what his electricity bill was. It was just so much for for a person, not a company to put it,
Right. Wouldn't that be sweet though, if we could just kind of slowly try to, hit the after holiday sales for the next handful of years, but then like our driveway does that big loop. What if we became that house? You know what I mean? Where people
what? I actually thought about that.
Drive up and through.
Then I had the thought of like right at the very end, how there's that little strip where it's shared.
Yeah, our neighbors might be like, you
getting people
bitches.
in and out at the same time would be tricky. But I actually did think about that. I was like, this is our driveway does have the perfect loop.
It also, we could just do it for us. You know what I mean? It could just be our own little thing. But
sure,
it does have a couple of spots too where it's kind of steep.
Yeah.
Like if we don't have the 4-wheel drive on for the truck like
$20 a loop. That's what we'd have to charge. And we'd have a good like salt and sand budget.
Yeah. You'd have to make it a pretty good freaking show for $20 a loop. My God.
I would though.
But yeah, no, that'd be really sick.
Yeah.
We should think about it.
I remember going to do you remember the one in Nashville that we went to at one time?
Yes, I loved that. That was at that was at the Yogi Bear Park in Nashville. And we waited forever to get into that shit. Do you remember the people that were in front of us were like total dicks?
I just remembered that.
And they were like, we were so like, both of us were like kind of white trashing it up at a certain point.
They were trying to because we were in line and
they literally were
on like the outside the lines.
Yeah. And so then you refused. You like did not want to let them over.
Nope.
And then I think finally they did bully their way in.
Yeah.
And then it was awkward because then
I think you were driving.
Oh, well then I would have for sure let them bully
Because I was like, don't let them.
Yeah. And I was like, they're literally going to hit us. Like, that's how fucking...
She's like, she came into the situation hostile. She's like, move over.
Yeah. We're like, well, you're not even in there.
What are you doing? You're on the sidewalk, basically.
Like, my bad. Yeah. And then we had to like slowly drive behind her the whole way. That was awful.
Anyway, yeah, it was...
but it was magical.
I love those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to connect with my youth. And I think being able to give that to the kids, it's like, that's an old time classic. You'll be able to do that always. You'll be able to just drive around and look at Christmas lights and yard decorations. Well, it's free. Well, I mean, gas, but
even if we, for our yard, even if we would make some of those arches that you just like wrap your lights around for us to drive through, that would be so cute. I wonder how they would hold up with the snow. We get so much snow. You think the snow would weigh them down or knock them over?
I mean, you can brace them.
That feels very overwhelming for me. But anyway, yeah, so we'll see.
Okay.
That could be cool. Before we get into holiday stories, should you give a little update? How are you feeling? Last episode was a little rough for us.
That's right, it was, wasn't it?
We were in a kind of a funky headspace. And I was driving into the house today after picking up dinner. And I thought, like, I knew we were going to record. And it's like, it's so funny how different you can feel after a week. Yeah. Like, I feel really good right now.
I feel pretty good. I've had, I wouldn't say I'm like 100%. Like, I still have like some want, just like sneak in, but definitely like way, way better than I was. I'm feeling optimistic about certain things. I'm feeling excited for the holidays, and overall, in a much, much better state. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still in a state of like, I think I'm going to need to like very pointedly take care of my mental health this winter. And so like, that's why I painted some more last night. Like, I'm going to continue doing that, which, by the way, God, it's like I get so hopeful and optimistic about a painting, and then I start, and then I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be so hard. And it's like really daunting, because you have to, because again, I'm not a master portrait artist. Like, admittedly, I am learning, and I would love to be a master someday, or like be able to finally admit like, okay, I'm pretty good. But right now I don't feel that way, because I truly am just learning how the medium interacts with itself and learning old master techniques and all that good stuff. So, but you have to just try and keep doing multiple paintings and all that good stuff. But there's a part of it that is like, you kind of have to just trust the process, because it's so many stages, and I'm not great. So I'm like fumbling my way through these stages, and then I'll step back and be like, oh, okay, like, it's actually not too bad where I was. But there was a moment last night, I literally like turned around, I was like, God damn it. Like, I told people I was starting this, and now I literally wanted to rip it off the wall and just start something else, because I was so upset with how I just wasn't. It's like, why isn't this translating from my head to the brush, or to the color matching what I'm seeing on a screen versus, I don't know. I'm just going to keep going with it and just see where it takes me. And if I fuck something up, keep covering it up. And then eventually, if you just keep covering up the bad parts, maybe I'll get there, or maybe I'll drift so far off. I do have to scrap it, but I'm enjoying the process still of being like 3 inches from a canvas and just staring at something and painting. So there's that. And then, just sitting down with you guys and enjoying movie nights, passive TV show nights, going around on our drives, trying to do more of those. I'm trying to, be very aware that if I'm not focusing, you okay?
Sorry, damn.
Clicky bottle.
Yeah, I know better than to bring an actual water bottle down here.
Yeah, that's
my bad.
But yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm doing a lot better, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much better I feel even next week.
If it would make you feel better, we could hang up another canvas right next to yours, and I can try to do what you're doing.
Well, see, that's why I want to get the wall-mounted easel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little more easy to have something sturdy in place, unlock it, and then I can go hang my piece up in another room, and then, or we could both. Yeah, I would love that. You should do that.
It made me think of that tattoo artist on Ink Master, the like season that's happening right now. The one where
we should catch up on that.
Where his stuff is like, he can do really realistic, but his style is to throw in something that's like cartoony or really basic.
Yeah, I think he's Australian, isn't he?
So maybe whatever you're struggling with, like let's say it's the nose. You could just do everything else very realistic,
just do a marker outline of
just
it.
do like a hard marker outline cartoon nose over the nose that you're struggling with. Yeah. Even though I don't think it's the nose. It's whatever. I haven't even looked at it.
It's a lot of,
or just put a whole, just like a big smiley face over the face, over the whole portrait.
That's how I got the inspiration for that one painting I did of Oliver, where he's a clown.
The clown. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My mom fucking loves that painting.
Yeah. I look at it now and I'm like, damn it, I want to redo that because it's not very good.
No, when we moved from Spencer, my mom was like, that was the first thing she asked for. And I was like, really? And she said, do you think Logan would care? And I was like, no, I don't think he would care at all. And then she took it, and then she continually asks me if it's okay that she has it.
Oh, yeah.
She loves that thing.
Yeah. I was just kind of, the same thing. It was getting away from me color-wise. And instead of giving another pass to like deepen and enrich the colors, I just gave a clown nose, some like blush, and then like blue triangles on the eyes, and it really looked like a rodeo clown type of look.
Yeah, it ended up being really cute. I think
it's all right.
I'll post a little picture of it. Let the crowd decide. But yeah, so we were going to talk about Thanksgiving stuff, which on the same token of
and holiday, because we're getting there. Because obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, dude, I'm so excited to have the next few. Well, I guess a couple months just sitting.
Yeah, this is going to be up for a while, y'all. Like this will be up for sure, at least until Valentine's Day.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we might just leave the tree up and just put hearts on it instead.
Okay.
We love Christmas around here.
About it.
We love the holiday feel.
Yeah. It's like it's almost like a nesting type of feel. Like I don't have a baby, but I'm very excited to like. Yeah. I don't personally have one on the way.
Yes. Yeah. We do have babies.
I have babies. Yeah.
Yes.
But it does feel like it's like I'm making my little space in the corner.
Well, it's like
it's cozy.
Yeah. We have these things out whenever it's cold outside, so it's just like it just feels like you're supposed to be inside and like warmed up with hot cocoa and movies, and you don't have to feel bad that you're not like getting out or exercising as much as you should because like it's cold. Okay, so we're just supposed to sit here and warm up.
Yep.
So I love it. I'm super into it.
Yeah. So we have some garland around the shelves with some lights, some tinsel, and then we have our Christmas tree up, which now would be a good time to remind people for the last time. If you're listening to this now, get your ornament in the mail ASAP so we can get it to decorate on December 3rd. I'm so excited.
Yes. Yeah. We'll remind you at the end of the show too.
Yeah.
But if you haven't done it yet and you want to send something in, we'd be so excited to see it. I am like crawling out of my skin, so excited to open the things that have shown up so far. It's so hard for me not to. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And that is happening on, is that this Sunday? This coming
December
Sunday?
3rd, yeah.
Crazy. Crazy. I feel like October was easily about 16 years long. Like that was the longest month ever. Yeah. And then I felt like I was so on top of things because I started actually doing some Christmas shopping at the end of October. And then I did no more until Black Friday. And it was like...
I'm always hopeful
now I feel
every
like
year when Christmas comes. There is that like little excitement in the air for it to come. Mm-hmm. But then as an adult, I feel like collectively as a society, we all just like, all right, it's here. You know, mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know if that's like growing up from being a kid to an adult and like that illusion has washed away of like the magical type of Christmas. But even still, if you like actually compare it to things we had as kids, you just went Black Friday shopping and there's no spirit around that anymore because it's Black Friday week or Black Friday month now.
Yeah.
So there is no excitement of getting to the store at 6 a.m. As much as I hated getting up, once I was in the car and you got that Starbucks in your hand.
Yeah.
That's some of the most joyful. It's like you're up before the world is up, but it's like so is everybody else in a weird way.
Yeah.
I don't know. And even though I didn't go with you this year because obviously I had to be with the kids, but
yeah,
there's a depressing aspect to that of like, it's like fucking, I'll just get it online now. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like just giving in to the way that corporations want to market to you and sell to you now, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting off the rails and just getting pissed now. This is a happy episode.
Yeah. Well, I think that like part of what makes it hard to feel the same magic we felt as kids is because now this is on us. And similar to how I talked about earlier, like Christmas is a very when I was a little kid, it was so exciting because all I had to look forward to was like the little Christmas shop that they would do at school, similar to like a book fair or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take my $20 of allowance and get little gifts for my whole family. But that was really the only prep I had, then my mom took care of the shopping and the decorating. I mean, like we helped with decorating too, but as adults now, we're not waiting for Christmas to be here. We have to fucking prepare for that.
Yeah.
And on top of that too, we've introduced all these new things that feels like everybody has to do in order to like keep the magic. But I mean, like fucking Elf on the Shelf, dude. Like that shit is so hard for me.
Yeah, because you have to do it for like the whole month, don't you?
Technically, he's supposed to come the day after Thanksgiving.
It's Black Friday.
Yeah, but we don't do it until December because I just can't do that extra week. It's too...
Are we going to do it this year?
Well, we have to.
Yeah.
We have to. Ollie is like, trying to figure out if it's real or not. Pretty sure it's not, but like...
Yeah.
I feel like we have to this year. And then hopefully next year, Oliver will want to help.
I feel like this elevated sense of responsibility to like, you got to come up with something fucking clever every night or at least every week.
Well, and our kids just aren't great at like falling asleep well, like, so, which is partly our fault, but it's just how we maneuvered for so long. And so it's hard, especially on the weekends, if Ollie stays up or can't fall asleep, then it's like, well, fuck. Sometimes I want to go to bed before Ollie does. Mm-hmm. And then when am I moving the damn elf? Like, it's just hard.
It's just such an interesting concept where, when you're a parent and you're older, man, I would like to go to sleep and have that magic of like, is he coming?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't have that because that illusion is gone for me now.
Yeah. And then it's like,
I don't have anybody to like, even if I knew, like, I'm pretty sure he's not real, but there's still like a magic when I get to wake up and like they're there. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't have anybody to do that for me anymore.
Right.
So that is a sadness.
Well, and then you have to like financially, it's a big part of the fucking equation to have the extra money to buy the gifts and do the things. And then you hope that your kids like the gifts that you spent all your freaking money on. Yeah. And if they don't like them enough or they hurt your feelings about it, that sucks. Or you're the one that has to clean up everything after the chaos and destruction is done. And then, I loved as a kid that it was like, okay, Christmas morning, we open the gifts and then we like lay around, like we'll play video games all day with our siblings or we'll just kind of veg.
Sit in that moment.
Yeah. Parents don't get to do that. Like we still got to feed everybody and we got to figure out what the plans are with the other members of the family. Or like I used to get so anxious thinking about going to your mom's house or your dad's house or my grandparents' house because like, what if the kids open their gifts there and don't give the right reaction?
Yeah.
Right. Because like
you have to give that pep talk before you go.
Yeah. And then I like, there's a part of me that almost hates doing that because I think that there should be a way for you to like, I don't know, communicate that you don't like fucking love every single gift, but you don't want to be rude about it. And some people are really excited to give things to you. And I don't know. It's like a hard balance. So I just feel like there is that part of it now that I don't feel quite as icky, but I do still get nervous whenever we call our family members and then the kids open the gifts from those family members. Because I remember like a year or two ago, Oliver only asked for like a bunch of books from the Scholastic Book Fair.
Mm-hmm.
And so my parents bought Ollie a bunch of books. But then when it came time for Ollie to open it, it was a bunch of books.
Yeah.
And so then Oliver didn't have that normal reaction of like excited about this cool toy or this cool thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, but dog, that's what you picked out. That's what you said you wanted. And then my parents have to feel bad that you didn't like get excited about the gift. But then for the next couple weeks, that's all Oliver did was read those books, you know? So I don't know. I just think that like, I'm trying to let it go because I think that like, I'm just taking some of the joy out of Christmas for myself when I'm so worried about how my kids are going to react to other people, like, or even react to us.
Yeah.
I think it's like, we bought it because we thought you'd like it. If you don't like it, we'll take it back.
Yeah.
No biggie. Please tell me if you don't like it and we'll take it back and we'll get something else. Or,
you know, like if I think about it, like looking back on my Christmases, which I want to get to, like, do you have a memorable Christmas or two, or like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I specifically remember all the presents from this one, the way the tree, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a part of it that I feel like when the kids grow up, I don't know how much of like individual presents they're going to remember or any of that necessarily, but I do think they're going to remember the atmosphere overall.
Mm-hmm.
And so as long as we commit to, trying to do the gingerbread houses every now and again, or the paper chain, like Ollie will really remember that. The fact that, we did, I know you mentioned it on the last one. You said we didn't know where we were going to hang it up. We just zigzagged it down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks pretty cool, fun. It's crude, but it's cute. The kids will remember that, especially Oliver will remember that as, being festive and fun. And, so I think that's like the takeaway. We need to also, there is a pressure there and there is a responsibility to it, but
it's also supposed to be fun. And it was fun when we were kids. And I think if we could just try to like relieve ourselves from some of the pressure, like, do the kids want certain things and maybe they would be bummed if they didn't get it? Sure. But like, are they going to really be upset about that? Or could they immediately be remedied by like, but let's make some fucking cookies.
Yeah.
Or let's do this little craft. Like, I already know when we sit down to do those shrinky dinks, Ollie's going to love it. Yeah. Ollie, as far as I know, has never done a shrinky dink. Mm-hmm. Those are fucking fun. Those are so fun to watch shrink up like that.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm very much looking forward to, because we moved here in March?
This house?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so there was some snow for a very little bit.
No, you know what? Right? We bought the house in March, but the guy we bought it from needed to stay until April. So we didn't actually move into the house until April. Oh. Remember that first month? We got some
snow so late in
We did. We did get snow late. But it was only like, there were like 3 or 4 times that you had to get the plow out.
Yeah, definitely. It was enough to plow the driveway. So it was a decent amount. So we were able to sled a couple times, I remember. But that's one thing I'm very looking forward to this year, is really playing up Dad this year. I feel like in my dad book, looking back when I'm old, this will be one of the winters with a gold star on it, of like, Simon's like the perfect age where he can like hang on, but it's like he's still like a baby.
Yeah.
But he can sit in someone's lap and like I can pull them around, And then because our property is so sloped, like right out by the garage, that is I would have dreamed to have that hill for sledding. It's almost like too good.
Yeah.
So I'm confident that we're doing the right thing. Because I do worry about it from time to time. Is like, are we moving too much? Are they not going to be able to make the memories because they didn't have I remember waking up and getting out the tree that because like at my dad's, we had the same tree for years and years and years. Your parents, same thing.
Yeah.
And it's, it almost becomes an icon of your childhood, of like, have you guys put the tree basically in the same spot at your house every year? Do you ever switch it? I feel like since we've been together,
we would switch it around a little bit depending on if my parents had like gotten a new couch set or something,
But otherwise, it's like...
There was one year at my parents' house that we put the tree upstairs, which is an interesting choice. I don't know why we did that.
Yeah.
But I remember it vividly because that was the year that I got...
Did you like that? I would feel like I wouldn't because then I don't get to enjoy it as much.
Yeah, because you don't see the tree in the... Yeah, it was different, and my parents' steps are kind of like tricky, so it's not really like a thing to like run up and down.
Yeah.
But I do remember that Christmas because that was the Christmas that I got the Sabrina the Teenage Witch Gigapet. It was Salem the Cat Gigapet in my stocking, and I like ran upstairs. I was so freaking excited about it. And then I also got this Arthur board game where it was like a matching game, and it's a library.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, I freaking loved that. It came with like little cardboard backpacks that you would like collect the books in. Listen. So it was I think I also got a handheld Sega Genesis that year. So the tree in that spot it was a good year for me.
So it was a good haul.
It was a good birthday. It was a good Christmas that year.
Yeah.
But we only did it the one time. And I think maybe my parents just didn't want to haul it downstairs.
Yeah.
They're like, we're putting this thing up up here.
That's all you get, guys.
But yeah.
I know we haven't had the consistency of like location, which is where I know worried you or bothered you, I would say.
It's really bothered me since Oliver has been school age. It's like anytime we move and Ollie has to move schools, it makes me really sad because I went to the same school the whole time. I was always at Spencer Elementary and then all through Owen Valley. So
a good
I
unique,
never
like there's kids you went to elementary school with. Like
there were kids in my kindergarten class that I was still friends with in 12th grade. Right. So Landon Leister, I was friends with him the whole time. He also went to Carol's house. Yeah. But like these people that I was friends with and knew the whole time. And then I can remember the kids that went to school with us for a few years and then moved away and I never saw them again.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that is a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still wonder sometimes like what happened to those kids or where they went, so I just don't want Ollie to be that kid for people. So that bothered me, but it's also like, what do you do, whenever you're trying to just like figure out how to make shit work or.
Well, I think we're doing okay.
We're trying.
I want you to know that, I worry about it too, but I think they're still young and, I think we've got plenty of time to still make a bunch of core memories for the kids. Yeah. And just because it's not the things that we look back on and yearn for, like the consistency of, growing up, my tree was always in that corner. Yeah. For them, maybe it is, I don't know. Yeah, but we got to like always have new fun types of trees and new locations. And I go back to like the atmosphere as I think the kids will look back and know mom always did all kinds of fun stuff with us. Dad always made hot chocolate and we went out and we went sledding and I'm confident that they're going to have fond memories of their Christmases and holidays and stuff. I do worry about the fact that the no family out here thing, and so we will have to, I think, as the years continue to go on, continue to focus on making sure that we can have, again, this year it's going to be your sister and Saichin that are out here that are sharing that with us, which will be a fun memory and unique memory to look back on. But I do want to make sure we focus on, maybe next year we go home for the holidays, for like Thanksgiving or something. Yeah. Just something where we can continue to sporadically have.
Or maybe one year we could do like one of the situations where we fly home on like December 26th and then we do Christmas at home that, last week of the year or something. Right. It's just hard because it's also so expensive to travel in the holidays.
I know.
So
it really is.
But
that's what I'm saying. Not every year, but if we did them, every few years or something, or if we get to a point where, I know at one point we had talked about the potential of, what if we all just met like in Chicago or something and we just did a handful of days together? That'd be a unique experience. I've never done a destination Christmas kind of like that. I I don't know. I'm open for it all. I'm a big one on tradition, yes, for sure. But I'm also a big one on just kind of going with the flow as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the same token of having to kind of figure it all out for Christmas, we also have to figure it all out for Thanksgiving. And this year I actually pulled it together and made an actual meal, which was not as awful as I thought it was going to be.
I thought it was great.
But
I'm still eating that ham.
But it made me think about, like, you know, my dad was visiting my sister this year for Thanksgiving, and then came out to us. So my dad's here now, which meant that my mom did not do a Thanksgiving because her parents are living in like an assisted living place, and there's some family drama going on. So it didn't have like a family get together. And then obviously, like, my dad was out here on this coast, so they didn't do anything with my dad's side of the family, which also we haven't done anything with that side of the family for a very long time.
It's been a long time. We used to,
very long time.
Which in an odd way, like, I kind of miss. Like,
yeah, you know what's funny?
I know there was like when did we stop kind of going? Was it more like college era?
You know, it's a bummer. So my dad's side of the family, my dad has two sisters, and my mom has two brothers. So it was like we kind of got the inverse experience of like those siblings. And my dad,
Arlo pooped and Simon pooped.
oh my God, a double whammy this week.
Wow. Are we gonna have to pause again just like last week?
Damn.
All right. We'll be right back.
So yeah, my dad though, like, their family's just loud. But like both of his sisters are loud. My dad would be probably like the more reserved if there was a reserved one. But the sisters are loud, and which always made it really fun. I always really liked going over there. My cousins were loud, and I had more cousins there that were like older than me, which was cool. And they were just different than anybody else that I had a lot of experience with. My oldest cousin over there is like super into horror movies and was very like punk rock.
Oh, yeah, he was into like all ska bands.
Yeah,
wearing, like, leather jackets.
Like he was just like cool. I just thought he was like the coolest dude and so interesting. And then
always a good time.
Yeah, and then my other cousin, his brother,
quite the opposite.
Very opposite, like super smart, but also like funny.
Not that the other one was dumb, but
no, but like he was just like
yeah, he's the opposite, super smart.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they're both smart, but like I knew that his brother was smart, like
he gives off an engineer vibe.
Yes, yeah. But I always thought he was just like really funny and like so nice. Just one of those like people that were just nice to you, right? And then my other cousins, they all live in Pennsylvania, so I didn't see them very often. But when they would come around, it was always like, oh, yay, like here they are. We're going to spend as much time as possible. But those two sisters are so different than my dad in the way that like politically they align. Yeah. Which for a long time was like, fine. It was whatever. But it feels like...
Well, less of an issue.
Less of an issue. But it feels like in the last, 8 to 12 years, it just got really...
It keeps getting turned up.
Yeah. And it just got to a point where my dad was like, hey, I don't want to talk to you about this. Like, I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change mine. So like, just don't bring it up anymore because it pisses me off. Like it makes my dad mad.
I can see, it's so funny even when I don't ever mean to. And sometimes it's like, I purposefully am like, I'm just not going to, just because I want to avoid that. Like while we're here, not because your dad and I actually agree on almost everything.
Yeah.
But it's more when like I can see like when a topic comes up.
Oh, he gets worked up.
I can see when he gets turned,
he gets worked up in the same way that I do sometimes, where it's like, oh, if it's like a human rights thing, I cannot talk to you about it and not feel some type of way about you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it just says too much about your character. And so then it's like, well, then just don't talk to me about it right now. You know what I mean? And especially like if you're family and we only see you literally 2 times a year, could you not?
Why does it have to be about
Could
that?
you just not do that? But it felt like they just kept.
How's school going?
They just kept doing it. And then one of my uncles made a comment in the conversation about teachers that really pissed my dad off.
Yeah,
because both of his daughters have teaching degrees. And so it's like, ooh, shut up. So we stopped going over there because the last time we went, it was just you and me and my sister.
Right.
And my parents didn't even go, and that felt a little awkward. But then it was also just like, there were a couple of moments during that dinner where it was like, I don't agree with what you're saying, and I don't want to get into it with you because you're the adult. And even though I'm also an adult, it feels like you're not going to look at me like I'm an adult. So there's nothing that I can say that's going to matter to you.
Yeah.
So we just don't like ever see that family anymore. And there's part of me that's like really bummed because I know that they are fun.
Right.
You know, like that's the family we would go and like play euchre. And it was like, everybody was good and wanted to play, and it wasn't super competitive necessarily. It was like a good time. You know, it was a lot of like, you motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It's like a bummer that we don't really see them anymore. And then with my mom's side of the family, one of my uncles is super just like quiet and reserved. And then the other one isn't. But we also don't necessarily agree with some of the ways that they move. And so it just felt like the older we got, the more just like awkward it was.
Yeah.
Or we would go and it would just become a thing of like, we're just waiting for somebody to say something so we can all look at each other and like give the eyes. You know what I mean?
I saw a TikTok just the other day where it was like almost mafia music that was playing, and they were all, so one of them was closing the door and then turning around, and it was like when the outer family leaves so the inner family can talk.
Yeah. Man,
so they all sit around like looking at each other.
The amount of shit talking we would do on the way home from that.
Dude, listen, as a new person into your family's like traditions and like getting invited to that stuff in high school and shit, I looked forward to that shit so much, just to be able to passively listen to you guys. Like,
oh yeah, because we don't hold back either. We get in that car and it is open field, baby. Like we are so, because it's just, God, they're just so different than us, which is fucking fine, but it's just not how we are. But yeah, so then it made us think about for this one, talking about those things, because I know for a while it felt really awkward for me to go to your family stuff for different reasons. I just didn't feel very comfortable, with my relationship with your mom for a long time. And so for a while it felt like I would go to those things and I was like, an invisible participant, like nobody really talked to me, or like even really acknowledged when I talked. It felt really awkward. And then there was one year I didn't go, specifically because I'm tired of being ignored. And it hurt my feelings a little bit, which maybe it shouldn't have. I don't know. I don't know if I think about these things right or not, but it hurt my feelings a little bit that you went and that you took the kids, because for me it's like, it felt like at the time that was all that anybody wanted, was for them to be able to have you and the kids and not me specifically. So it felt like they almost were getting what they wanted for treating me poorly by getting you guys and not having to deal with me anymore. And for me, it was a thing I didn't get to go to that my family got to experience. And I don't know that I don't know if I was right in the way I felt or not. Because for me, maybe it's easy for me to say because I've never been put in this situation before, but I think if there was a thing I was invited to and you didn't feel comfortable or wanted to be there, I would look at it from the immediate aspect of, well, like he's my person.
Yeah.
So there's not a picture where all of us aren't in it.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
I will say that's so fuzzy to me, that period, but I do vaguely remember that one going without you.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was a decent period of time where you and I I didn't see fully your perspective on it or appreciate it anyway, because I still was working through my own understanding of growing up and what that meant, of like setting my own boundary,
Yeah.
So I know I didn't handle a lot of those times right either, of like I feel like I could have, if going back, I would have done what we did, I think, sooner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which for what we did, if we haven't been open enough about that at this point, we literally did just go no contact for like a full year. We didn't go.
My mom.
Yeah.
Right.
With your mom,
and then my brother was like.
Your brother was like 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was hard
for slightly different reasons. There was a couple crossovers, I think, there.
Yeah.
But
that's for another episode.
Yeah,
that's not for today's episode. Okay.
I think it's just important though to say, if like, I know, yeah, obviously it's not been sunshine and roses.
Yeah.
And there's always work to do, but I do feel, I'm glad we're not in that stage anymore where it's like,
I am
don't
too.
feel that way.
Yeah, I am too. But I do think that like in the sake of that, and reading through some of the things that we'll read today of like what other people said about their Thanksgiving stories or holiday experiences, I think that there is a little bit of power when you finally do realize like, oh, I don't actually have to go to these things anymore.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to like the family, so my mom's family has some shit going on, but
Sorry, I know it is
to put
serious.
it so
I don't mean
mildly,
to laugh, but like,
which again we'll talk about on another episode. That's not the episode
so many
for today.
aspects to it where it's like,
but there are so many aspects to it, but I will say that like I've always had a really, really hard relationship with that set of grandparents, and very specifically my mom's dad. I just don't like the way he moves. I think he moves really disrespectfully, kind of all the time. And when I finally put my foot down on the aspect of like, oh, I'll come to Christmas and Thanksgiving, but I'm not gonna like go out of my way to be super kind to him. I basically, before all of that, I was like, I'm not going to respond when he texts me or calls me anymore. Like outside of these 2 times a year, I'm not going to have a relationship with him because I think he has this weird entitlement where he thinks that I should drop whatever I'm doing to give him the attention that he needs for whatever it is that he wants, which could be the most minute, ridiculous thing. And like for a long time, he just kept trying to get me to give him my dad's phone number because my dad was like, he doesn't need my fucking phone number. You can call your mom.
No.
You know what I mean? But like, I just don't really have a relationship with him anymore. And whenever we go home, there's been a couple of times where I'll visit him because he's like, but I'm not really visiting him. I'm visiting my grandma and he's just kind of there. But because I stopped responding to his messages, I would then go to those 2 things a year and he really wouldn't talk to me either. And that felt really good. Like, okay, great. We're both just going to ignore each other and that's fine. But I do think that like it reminds me all the way back to that email of the girl that wrote in and there was some sexual abuse from a family member, an uncle, I think. And like she was continually put in positions where she had to be around him. And I think there's something crazy important about like getting to the age of feeling comfortable saying like, I'm not going to be around this person anymore. And I don't like, that's not my fucking fault. I don't need to feel bad for that. I don't need to feel guilty for that. This isn't a fun experience for me. I don't actually want to have anything to do with you. It doesn't matter if you're my family or not. And I think that there for a long time was this weird pressure to like always make it work with your family members.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely living in the world of like, hell no.
Yeah. I think for me, at least to speak on the aspects of like, anytime there were things with my family that were annoying, specifically to me, not that your gripe isn't the right word, issues, like the way my brother would speak to me or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't need 1,000 examples every time I get an example.
One's good.
One's good. There was a mindset of like, yeah, but I need the magic more, so I'll put up with that. You know, like going,
which also wasn't magical.
But it was to me. Like there still was like I still need the experience of putting up the tree at my mom's. I still, even though it's like I know you're going to throw out some jokes that like put you above me somehow. Just like let's establish that. I know that's what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. I'll tolerate that because I still get to decorate the tree with my family. You know what I mean? Like that's, I feel like that's for a long time is where my head was at, is that the overall package was worth any damage to get to me.
I remember the last time that we had a Christmas with your mom specifically, your mom and your sister and your brother specifically, before we said we weren't going to do that anymore. And I remember leaving and you and I kind of getting into it because I felt like my feelings had been hurt the whole fucking time. Yeah. You know, I had been ignored, whatever. And you weren't doing anything about it. You weren't, you know, and I'm like nudging you or making, like I'm letting you know that it's happening. But I remember leaving after that one and us being in an argument. And I'm like, think about the amount of times we have left this exact situation and then fought the whole way home.
Yeah.
So like, is it magic? Is it a magical experience? Because even during it, you might be able to put it aside, but my fucking feelings are being hurt the whole time. And then we leave and then we're arguing the whole time.
I know I didn't handle it in the way that I think today me would want to handle it now.
Yeah.
But I
just think
I don't have an excuse.
I think I think that it's
to illustrate. I think that's where my brain was like at the time of like, I was still trying to hold on to this sense of, because we've been down that road before of, I didn't have the consistency that you did.
Right.
And so I'm trying to hold on to what I thought was like my idea of a family.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I wasn't willing to accept the idea that, no, this is just kind of what it is. And you have to do the best with it that you can.
Well, and I bring it up not to try to make you sound like a fucking, like you were ignoring the fact that I was not being treated nicely or anything like, but I think you kept searching for the magical feeling that you had.
Hopeful. I kept being like, please.
Whenever you would have Christmas at home as a kid and it was magical, even with the silliness or the maybe mean-spirited jokes sometimes. But as you got older, like it wasn't magical anymore. It felt sad a lot of times. We would leave and I would just cry on the way home and we would be arguing and I'm just like, this isn't magical. And at a certain point it's like I would have had so much more fun if we would have just gone and done something together instead. Yeah. And if they are upset that we aren't going to be there for some magical experience, like, but it's not magical anymore.
Yeah.
This isn't fun. It's not a thing that I want to participate in.
Yeah.
But I hate the idea of you and the kids going. And then now you guys have a Christmas tradition that I just don't get to be part of, not because I don't want to, but because somebody else doesn't want me to.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
someone
no,
else
it was
makes me
real-
feel like they don't want me to.
I do remember that of like wanting, it's kind of coming back now, of like wanting to still take the kids because like I didn't want to rob them of having the gift open because they don't know what's going on between us necessarily.
Mhm.
And so like that's how I felt. I was like, no, but they've got presents to open tonight. They've got like we've got a dinner. Like I don't want to just like I don't want to be canceled, you know.
Yeah,
And it
but
was so hard to do.
But for me, it's like, why are we the assholes, or why are we robbing the kids of that rather than the people that aren't treating me right or aren't being kind to me? Like they're the ones that are robbing it from all of us. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know, but also nervous to know like where other people lie on that, because I just think that I don't know. For me, for what I look for in my family unit, it's like we are a unit.
Mm-hmm.
And if all of us aren't being treated right, then none of us are going. Yeah. You know, like if we had family members that wanted to say shit to Oliver about being non-binary, if that was a thing that got brought up in some kind of negative way at a family event, that would be we would never go back. You know, it wouldn't be like, well, Ollie, they're just old. They just don't get. It'd be like, oh no, that's
for sure.
Like it would just be a hard stop. And if we would do that for Oliver, why wouldn't we do that for me or for you? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, and again, thankfully we're not in that position anymore, but I do want to asterisk that before we get into some of these, because some of these you read and you're like, damn. And other ones I'm just like, dude, that fucking sucks. Like that sucks that you felt that way or you were treated that way or that was the fucking joke, because that's not funny.
Yeah.
That's like cruel.
Are these all pretty heavy or do we okay.
No, I'm thinking of one specifically that I read and I was like, dude, that fucking that actually sucks.
Because I did see a couple responses where I was like, oh no, that's damn it.
Not nice.
My actual intention was like, did anybody have an uncle who like got drunk and fell in the snow? You know?
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Which do you have any like funnies before we get started?
I was thinking about your grandpa, like when you were talking.
Yeah.
And just that idea of when we first started dating, do you remember he was still into woodworking?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
And the first time that I think it was the first time that I went to Thanksgiving. If not, it was like I went to that and then Christmas, but it was like one of the first times I'd went up there. And you had warned, it was like a thing. You had warned me like, hey, if he pulls you out into the garage, like try to come back in.
Yeah. Tell him you need to shit. Like literally make up anything. I feel like I'm going to throw up. And get out of there.
And so he pulled me in there. He's like, I want to show you something. And he takes me out in the garage and everything is a marvel. You know, old men and like loving to show off their toys and whatnot. It's everything. Mm-hmm. The light that he has to turn on is funny. The clock that he has on the wall, like, look at that. You know? But once he started showing me all the woodworking, I remember you warning me, like, hey, he's going to do this. And me being like, oh boy. But once he actually started showing me, there was like a good 15-minute chunk where I was like, this actually ain't too bad because this is actually really cool shit.
Yeah.
And I was very excited to look at it all. But then once we were in there for about an hour, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go back in now. Like, I've seen all this stuff. This is really cool. We're not going to turn it on, so I'm not going to use it. I'm just kind of sitting here looking at it and listening to you talk now.
Yeah.
But I do remember he gave me a woodworking magazine to like look at because he was wanting to give me plans for an Adirondack chair.
Yeah, as a
like
16-year-old. Yeah, like fucking kid, dude. Like, what are you doing?
I still have that somewhere.
Like, sir, I've barely done wood shop, so I don't know what you think you're going to get out of me.
I'll just last thing, and then I'll let you move on. But on that same note of like being new to the quote unquote family, because we were just dating. Like I was just the boyfriend coming to your, because we would go up there for Thanksgiving, and then it would literally be like, okay, we'll see you in a few weeks for Christmas. Right. Obviously, other families do that. But that was really the only family I think we did that consistently with.
Yeah.
Even on my side of the family, like it's always like either a big thing or we don't do it. But I remember this happened for, I lost count. I don't know exactly, but a few years at least of doing that. where we would have the Thanksgiving meal, but then the tradition was to put up the tree and decorate it and then take a picture in front of the tree with all the grandkids. And it was like, so the first one I got totally like, hey, I'm new. Like, I don't want to be in anything. Like, you don't know if I'm going to stick around, whatever.
Yeah.
Take the picture. Next year, it was like, hey, I've been here for a year, maybe, but didn't happen. I was like, okay, I get it. But then it was like that third year, I wasn't included. I was like, this kind of feels weird.
Yeah. And then there was one year that it was like we had a separate,
because it was like everybody gathered over there and like everybody's watching the picture, but it's like it was a moment.
Yeah.
So you're watching, everybody's smiling, and I'm just like in the corner awkwardly being like, I'm just gonna try to hide.
Oh my God.
I don't think anybody intentionally, like, or maybe they did. I don't know. Do you have any insight?
I don't think it was a thing where it's like, we don't like Logan, but it was definitely a thing of like, he's probably not going to be around. And so like, why would we?
Yeah, but after 3 years.
But also, yeah. And then we like very intentionally had a photo shoot for,
oh my gosh.
For one of my grandparents' anniversaries or something.
It was at your Uncle Mike's house.
And we had been together for like a long time at that point.
A good while, yeah.
And we thought for sure you were going to be in them. We had you dressed because it was like,
I was dressed nice.
It was like, hey, everybody in each family, like where.
Everybody was there. Dude, it was a big photo.
Everyone was there.
No, don't you remember? It was literally like, I don't remember what was like your dad was in the bathroom or taking a walk or something.
Yeah.
And so they were like, hey, Logan, can you go stand back there? And so they could get like the framing right.
Right.
And they're like, okay, now step out, Neil, you take his place. And then I watched it get.
Yeah. No, you're the one that pushed the button. Yeah. They're like, can you push the button for us? It's like,
sure, here you go. And everybody's smiling.
Meanwhile, you're like all dressed up in your fucking button up too. Like fucking total dork. That was so ridiculous.
But then, yeah, I earned my spot into the family photo. Then I think we stopped taking them after a while.
Yeah, which is, yeah.
Which I was like, damn it. Then I do remember, seeing your other family members bring, boyfriends over occasionally, and me thinking like this weird superiority of like, you're going to have to earn the picture.
Don't even think about hopping in there.
Boy, when it's time for picture time, I'm going to hop up so fast.
You stay on the couch.
You're going to be so jealous of me. I'm to the point now, I don't even care about the photo. I'm going to keep watching this fucking Lions-Packers game.
Yeah. I just remember that same family, which, God, I don't know if you were around during the good years of it, but I have the youngest cousin on that side of the family. I think is probably 10 or 11 years younger than me. And she just we would always like play board games, right? Like the kids would play board games and the parents would talk and make food and eat and whatever. But she was totally one of those kids, which I was like this too for a while, where it's like, the moment she starts losing bad, which she always did because it was like the only two board games they had were Monopoly and Battleship. Yeah. So it's like, and man, we would just annihilate her. Like, no, there was no pity given. Yeah. But she would start hysterically crying, like every time, no matter what, like clockwork. About 30 minutes into game, she would start sobbing because we weren't letting her win, or we were just fucking, bankrupting her right away.
I do remember that being like a warning to me, but I think I had just missed that phase.
Well, because what was really crazy about it was like she would start having a whole meltdown.
Yeah.
And she would go upstairs to like have the cry about it, but she would stay up there for like a fucking hour, hard sobbing the whole time. Like it was just so like wildly over the top.
Yeah.
And it was like, at a certain point, none of us even wanted to play games with her anymore. And then we would do the thing where it's like, well, no, you're not allowed to play with us because you'll cry the whole time. And so then she would go upstairs and cry anyway, because then she wasn't allowed to play the games. And it was just like, but again, I remember there being like a couple years at my house where I had to play games alone because nobody would play with me because I was I was a brat about losing. I wanted to win. And thank God my parents had this Lion King board game, and you could play it solo. So I would play that game over and over and over again by myself, or I would get out like, Life.
Yeah.
And I would just load up 2 cars and play 2 different journeys all on my own, see who wins. But yeah, dude, it was just like, it was so nice when she finally got out of that just like sobbing phase. But then it was just like, we just had nothing in common. You know what I mean? So it was, we could exchange pleasantries, but we weren't close at all.
I loved going there and hitting that phase, which if we ever go back, which we won't, because I for just now remembered that that's not their home anymore. But like just watching y'all do your thing, and then me just being allowed to just sit in the recliner, watch the football game, and just chill. And
there are parts of me that get really sad that they sold that house, because we had no idea the last time that we were home that was happening.
So you get like a walkthrough.
But it was just like all of a sudden my grandpa decided he wanted to go in assisted living, and because it's his way or the highway all the fucking time, whether it makes sense or not, they like sold the house. My grandma was like not in great health, so she didn't have the like mental capacity to really like say no to that. And like all their shit got sold or given away, and it felt like it happened so fast.
Quick,
and there was that part of me that it's like, hey, it's not my house, so like, what do I have to say about it? But also like my grandparents lived in that house for the majority of my childhood,
right?
And it's a fucking bummer that nobody thought to like
include you,
let me know that was
in the information of
it. Like even if I would have wanted to go home and like be there one more time,
sure,
by the time I would have gotten there, they were already getting rid of their stuff. Like it literally happened so fast. That was such a fucking actual bummer. I felt a little sad when you were talking about him taking you out to the wood shop, because as insufferable as that man is a lot of the times,
so much good stuff,
dude, like, and I spent a lot of time out in that wood shop. Like he would pay me a little bit of money to vacuum up the sawdust, and there was something really like yummy about vacuuming up all the sawdust. Like it was just so it just like scratched the itch, right? When it's like you walk in and the floor is covered in thick layer of sawdust, and you sweep it all up. Oh my God. But it's a bummer. Like I built bookcases with him, and like
I remember those.
Which is so funny, because my grandpa would always make shit for everybody that like nobody actually asked for or wanted. But like the one time in college that I wanted to make a bookcase, and I was living with them at the time, which was already hard enough. And I brought up the idea of making this bookcase and having him help me with it. And then he like charged me for every fucking part of it. Like
every screw.
I couldn't use his screws. I had to go buy screws. It was just like he made shit for everyone else all the time and never charged them anything. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I am a broke college kid. Like, why are you making me pay you for this?
It's funny, like just traditions. When you're a kid, or I guess even when you're an adult, you lose track of the idea that they can only happen in a certain way for so long. You know what I mean? Like the idea of, or even going back to my grandma Key's house when we would get together for Christmas there. It is such I have so many warm memories because, well, I have my cousin Andrea, who is 10 days younger than me. And so we were always called twins. So we would always get dual, if I got the horse on a stick with a cowboy hat, she would get the same one, that kind of shit. We were, for a long time, the same. So we'd celebrate when we'd gather for Christmas, we'd celebrate our birthdays with a cake, do our little things. And then we would go and do, all the Christmas opening on the floor, and we would sit over there, and then Uncle Steve would sit over there, and then Grandma would sit. It would just like, there's just those embedded memories. But when Grandma passes away, it's like you can't hold it there anymore. And so you have to find a new venue, and traditions change. Like you can keep them alive in certain ways, but at a certain point, you kind of have to make your own. So, yeah, it's sad, but I'm looking forward to making those for our kids.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, move on to what
yes.
you have.
Okay. First one. So my first husband had moved us to the valley and sat there cleaning his gun, telling me that his mom had taken the kids' birth certificates for safekeeping and that he had hidden illegal substances in my vehicle. So if I didn't follow his rules, he would call in a tip. He's in prison now. This was 16 years ago. Another time at my parents' house, my sister had a flip out session and attacked multiple family members, then got mad that we didn't side with her crazy behavior. So she took off and we couldn't find her for a few days.
Oh, man.
Like, what the fuck? That shit is like the abusive husband stuff fucking is so scary to me. Like that intimidation factor of somebody like having your husband sitting in front of you, cleaning a fucking gun and talking about how he's hidden shit in your car. So if you don't do what he says, he's going to call it in and you'll like lose your kids.
Yeah.
Cause she did like reiterate on another post, like that she, like he said that like if she wasn't back, like by the time that he said,
oh, right.
You know what I mean? It was like these very strict rules.
Man, that's
and if you don't follow my fucking rules, then I'm going to call the cops and there will be shit in your car. Like, that's so scary. I can't even imagine that. I'm so sorry that that was happening for you.
Yeah.
Your sister flipping out and attacking people, and then like disappearing for a few days. That shit's so fucking wild to me. And I never had like a family fight happen like that. I've never seen family members fight. That would be a crazy story to tell later, though.
Yeah, no. After, you say 3 days or a few days?
A few days, yeah.
Man, I feel like after day 2, I'd be like, oh, uh-oh.
I know, like,
damn.
Where did you go? My gosh. On a lighter note, this girl says, we don't do traditional food for Thanksgiving. My grandparents passed away 15 years ago, and ever since, we do a non-traditional dinner.
Oh, that's fun.
My grandma made Thanksgiving-style dinner for every holiday, so we decided to mix it up after they passed. This year, we had enchiladas.
Oh, fun.
I do think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It's like flipping the expectation on its head.
Yeah. Which, I don't make stuff like Thanksgiving food very often. This year was the first time I've ever made ham in my life.
I like the way we did it though, and I wouldn't mind making that almost a tradition in itself.
Yeah.
Of like, I feel like, you know, when we go to your grandparents' house, it was always, you would gather and everybody would have their food. There would be preparation. People would bring their dishes or whatever, but then it would be a certain time we would all dig in.
Yeah.
But this year, we just kind of made a couple things and then we'd sit down and eat a little bit.
Yeah.
And then go watch some TV, hang out. We would make some more stuff. And you were cooking all day.
Yeah. I basically just had the kitchen like a slow rolling menu all day, because also like our kids are just at the age where if I make a bunch of food, they're not going to eat any of it.
Yeah.
Or they might eat one thing. So it's like, okay, well, I know everyone will eat the mac and cheese. I know that for a fact.
I sure will.
So let's do this little appetizer. I'll make the mac and cheese. We'll have that for lunch. And then I'll make the other stuff throughout the afternoon. And then we can just like eat that more for dinner.
For seconds, yeah. Oh man. And then
we still had macaroni. So if you wanted macaroni with the stuff for dinner.
I was a big fan of doing it that way because it felt also less.
I also made the salad at lunchtime. So there was like salad that you could kind of pull from all day too.
It felt less pressure to like. Yeah,
and it's like hard to time everything too. So
you don't have anybody in the kitchen like your mom or anybody.
Yeah, nobody's bringing the green bean casserole. I got to make all that shit. You know, I was like, ugh.
What else we got?
This is what I was afraid of that was going to happen. This girl said, my mom always does turkey on the grill for Thanksgiving. One year we're all in the house and look out and see flames coming out of the top of the grill. We got the turkey off before it was completely gone. Dug under the black and had some turkey, but not much left.
Oh man.
Like I was so nervous that I was going to just fucking ruin stuff.
I'm so thankful I'm not I'll eat turkey, but I'm not a turkey person. Like never, even when it's like prepared really well.
I'm not a big turkey person either. I mean, like I do prefer if I'm having like a lunch meat sandwich that it's turkey, but I don't want like chunks of sliced turkey.
Yeah.
Like it's just not.
Yeah, I'm a good like honey ham kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't really like ham either.
What?
I just know that you and the kids like ham, so
You
that's
didn't
why
have
we
any of it?
No. I had a couple bites just to see if it was like
So you're
that I did a
telling
good
me
job.
This whole time we've been together, every year we've went and we've like, we're going to get a honey baked ham.
Oh, I don't eat the ham.
Oh my gosh. How have I missed all that?
I don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah. There's something about it.
Oh, God.
I think it's mostly a texture thing. There's something about the texture of ham. It's just not my...
Even when it's like warm?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's kind of like, especially when it's warm.
Oh.
There's something about it that's just a little...
I'm like in shock right now. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I'm sorry
for the dead air.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Like if we would go somewhere and they had turkey and ham, I would get the turkey, but I wasn't like excited about either thing.
I feel like turkey for me, in comparison to ham, it's like too fibrous. It's too, and it's really easy to have too dry. So I just prefer the juicy honey ham.
Yeah. There's something about ham that's just, I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. I think anybody that does know, you know what I'm saying.
Well, you're wrong. Okay, move on.
Okay. This person said, so when I was like 5 or 6, it was Thanksgiving and I was with my mom at my grandma's trailer. I was hella bored because this wicked witch didn't have any kids' toys and refused to watch cartoons or anything even remotely for children. So we go to the park and we were gone for a couple of hours. This was 1996, so no cell phones. We come home and found all of our stuff on the porch with a note that said if we wanted to be her family, we should have showed up in time for dinner, which was apparently served at like 1 p.m. Good riddance, her loss. Now I serve dinner at a reasonable hour, like 4:30 to 6, give or take. Spite is light enough to carry for decades.
Wow. Damn.
Can you imagine? Like my grandparents, we did like lunch.
Yes.
I can't imagine you and I like going for a walk
and just find our shit on the porch.
Finding our shit on the fucking porch with a note. You can't even knock on the door and ask what's up.
We're back. You literally asked for this. So bye.
Like she's a little 5 or 6. She was like a little kid. Like
that's old enough to know better. So honestly, that's her fault.
Oh my gosh. This one's fun. She said, my favorite holiday tradition was always that myself and my son would buy Nerf guns for my sister and her family. And then we'd have a Nerf gun war throughout my parents' house on Christmas Eve. Her kids would be shooting someone and then jump off the back of the couch onto them with baby pile drivers. My dad was usually the victim of those. My nephew even had a back cast for a few years of it to make those pile drivers more effective.
That's fun.
That is fun.
I like that.
That reminds me of, so Seichen's never done Christmas with us, but there was one year that Seichen got to town the day after Christmas and we were at our house and Jen made it seem like Seichen had never played with Nerf guns before. Didn't know what those were.
I remember this, yeah.
And so we went to Walmart specifically to get them because as an asterisk, and I might get a little heat for this, I don't like Nerf guns in the house. My kids are fucking unruly and they will shoot those Nerf bullets right at each other's eyeballs. They will. They'll hit them at the TV, knock the TV down.
You're not a fan of them, but we still have them. Or we did.
I know because they would get them for
don't we?
They would get them for gifts. We have guns, but no bullets. Every time I find the bullets, I pick them up and throw them away. I'm not kidding.
We used to have, dude, I'll still be finding those bullets. We have so many.
Oh my God.
We had so many.
We had so many of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ollie would just always like, and those things hurt. Yeah. Like I was just so afraid that they were actually going to fucking hurt themselves. But that is a really fun.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to watch Seichen and Ollie because if we had Arlo then, I don't think we did. But if we did, Arlo would have been a baby. So it was just Seichen and Ollie and Jen running around the house with the Nerf guns. And that was really cute.
I think this is a good spot for me to ask if anybody does on that note have any just really fun, unique traditions that you wouldn't mind sharing. Like something maybe fun that uniquely your family does or something like that.
That would be so cute.
I would love to, start making an effort with our family to try to just have a couple little fun things. I know some families do like, they have multiple trees, but like one of them is like whoever, like every year, everybody will get a really dumb ornament for someone, almost Secret Santa style.
Yeah.
And so every year they add to that tree of just stupid, dumb ornaments.
Yeah.
And I think that would be fun to do with our kids.
Or the people that do the pickle ornament.
Yeah, hide the pickle or something like that. Yeah. So if you have any fun ones, like,
I would love that. Yeah. Because we didn't
put them in the group or something.
We didn't have any traditions like that felt out of the ordinary at my parents' house, but we were just consistent. Like my parents were so good at just being really consistent. And I don't feel like consistency is a strong suit for me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm just so like impaled with fucking anxiety or stress or overwhelmed that I seemingly just forget how to do anything that isn't a total necessity. But we got to make our shit magical. So, okay, this one made me sad. This one says, the most prominent Christmas memory I have is one year getting up and my stepmom telling us that my dad had went out for coffee and donuts. So she had us waiting in the living room so when my dad came home, we could open presents. Soon after, my dad burst through the door with the front of his t-shirt wet, screaming at us about how we had left our shoes in front of the door, causing him to trip and spill coffee on himself, burning him badly. He screamed at us to go, quote, pick our shit up. And my brother and I went out and our shoes were sitting on top of the porch. Our shoes were sitting on the porch on top of two large boxes. We grabbed the shoes and booked it to our room to hide out, per the usual. My dad came in a few minutes later confused, asking what we were doing. We both just looked at each other and didn't say anything. My dad started laughing and asked if we saw what the shoes were on, and we both shook our heads no and just continued to sit. He then got frustrated and told us to go outside and look, so nervously we did. It was a boombox and a TV for our room. He said he was just joking about tripping and that it was, quote, part of the surprise. Then he couldn't understand why we were so quiet and seemingly not excited for the rest of the gift opening. Never understood why he thought that was funny. That was a funny Christmas prank, and I still think about that every Christmas to this day. Also, one time they thought it was funny to pretend that like they didn't remember my birthday for the entire day. Then after I cried myself to sleep, they woke me up and surprised me with some gifts. Then got pissed at me for not being excited enough, and him and my stepmom berated me for being a baby about their hilarious joke. I've had an aversion to celebrating holidays and receiving gifts since. Thankfully, now I get to celebrate my son the right way and have found joy in holidays and birthdays again.
It's pretty sad.
It's really fucking sad.
Yeah.
Oh, my fucking eyeballs are crying right now. Like, it just feels like abusive.
Yeah.
And it feels like the way that they responded to the dad saying, like, go pick your shit up, for them to know that meant run and get your stuff and then go to your fucking room.
Yeah, you're not.
That's like a trauma response. That's like you're doing what feels right because you've been talked to that way before.
Yeah, it's sad. I'm sorry. Like it stuck. And there was like a point where you had to say like, I have to like repair my relationship with gift giving and receiving.
So sad.
Like, that's tough.
But in saying that, he made a separate post in the group the other day that I'm also going to read that is unrelated to the prompt, but is tied to Thanksgiving a little bit. And I think also just shows, oh my God. Okay. I'm just going to read it and then we can talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was able to get 2 days off with my boy for Thanksgiving and had the absolute best time. I got my son some mini race cars as a Thanksgiving gift, and yesterday while we were playing with them, he kept mentioning we needed a racetrack. So last night, after I got him to sleep, I got out the chalk paint pen, and doodled this racetrack for him on our stained concrete floors. I knew he would be bummed that I wasn't there again when he woke up, so I wanted him to have something else to bring him some joy. I had the most peaceful experience just laying there on the ground drawing. I felt so thankful for how far I've come, for the happy home we've created together, and so unbelievably full of love for my son. It was another one of those moments that made me aware of how much I've healed and how whole I feel again, And while not every day is easy, it reminded me that I'm on the right path and those tough days have become far less common. Hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving and are finding peace in your life as well. Love you, fellow BYC members. And then look at this fucking track.
Yeah, I saw. I
oh my
hey,
freaking
listen,
God.
I wasn't supposed to cry on this episode.
Oh my God. Like, that is so sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
So sweet. And like to have so much joy, just like spending time with your kid.
Yeah.
Is so freaking sweet. And to like, I think it can be really, I don't want to say easy, but I think in the same way that you and I were noticing the things we were doing in our parenting were sometimes reflective of stuff that our parents had done or your step parents had done that didn't make us feel good. It can be easy to kind of repeat shit that we've been through or that, you know, we remember. And I think to read something like that where it feels like this dude not only is like living his life like in the total opposite of what he was given, but also the way that like he loves his son the way that I'm sure he wished he would have been loved as a son. And especially when I see dads like really loving being a dad and really taking that so seriously that, or to be like, I got to have 2 days off to spend with my kid. And I knew he was going to be sad when he woke up and I was going to have to go back to work. So I wanted to do this thing that like would be joyful for him, but also really good for me too. Like those are the things that sometimes I really feel like guilty about as a parent, whenever I feel so overwhelmed, especially since we've moved out here and we just don't have help with the kids. Where it's like, God, like I want to do that. And sometimes I'm just like too tired or too like, I've just been doing things for these kids all day. I don't have it in me to do another magical thing. I'm just doing all of these like normal things. And I think that's where I like really put the pressure on myself last year to like make Christmas really magical and like yank myself out of the shittiness that I was feeling. Because I want to enjoy this stuff. I want to enjoy doing things for the kids the way that he is enjoying doing things for his kid. You know what I mean? But God, I thought that was like so magical. And so to read it on the back of what he had said to our prompt, it's like, dude, you are like night and day different than your dad. And like you are giving your son a night and day different experience. And like, that's what he's going to remember about you. You remember these like kind of traumatizing things that happened to you. And your kid's going to remember like all of these just really magical moments that you were able to give him. Even if you do work a lot or you don't have as much time with him as you want, he's going to remember how much fun he had with his dad more than he's going to remember that his dad had to work a lot or, you know what I mean? Like, just so sweet. Oh,
very sweet.
I do not have tissues for this.
We need to get you just like a permanent like box to attach to your chair.
I know.
Just like a tissue replacement box.
Yeah. Fuck. Help me. Okay.
Let's do a couple more and then we can wrap it up.
Okay. This one reminded me of the shit talking that my family and I would do. She said my best friend and her family had made a list of what bingo cards would be filled with using phrases or whatever annoyances her husband's parents would say or do. So during dinner, each of them could be heard randomly saying bingo to each other as a way to just get through the day without killing each other or the parents. We thought that this was hilarious and may have to do it at one of our family get-togethers.
Eventually, though, someone's going to figure that out.
I know. Like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing over there?
I start testing it. Be like, I gotcha.
But I do feel like I very specifically remember one Thanksgiving or Christmas with my mom's family where I don't know if it was me and you or me and my sister,
yeah.
but it was like,
think
we're
it was
going to
us
keep
three.
track of how many times these people talk about themselves
Yeah.
in a boastful way.
Yeah.
And then we're going to laugh about it later.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's just like in the moment, it's just, oh my God. Okay. Last one. This one says, my uncle threatened to fight my older brother for inviting our grandpa to Thanksgiving after nobody else told him what the plans were. More interesting is that the uncle in question already uninvited my brother and his wife and kids and was fighting with grandpa and even threatened to fight grandpa.
Bring it on, Grandpa.
Which reminded me of the fact that my grandpa, the insufferable one, is currently having some beef with another person at the assisted living home. And apparently the director at this place was like, well, are you feeling threatened by him? And my grandpa was like, apparently kind of scoffed and was like, he knows better than to do anything to. And if y'all could understand truly who my grandpa is.
Yeah, he rides Rascal.
There is not a single intimidating thing about this man. Like, I don't know what you think you would do or what you think somebody else thinks you would do, but probably not much. Like he's struggling.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
He's struggling to just sit quietly at this point. You know what I mean? Like there's no way. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know what it's so interesting to me when family members continue to be around each other when they're threatening to physically fight each other.
Yeah, no. Bye.
Like, why are y'all still getting together?
No. I'm out.
And it's so weird.
I have family where it's like we just don't get along or we have differences, whatever, but I don't, outside of like scuffling with my brother, a few times, not even scuffling, but just like brothers, brother shit. I can't think of any like family fight, like you said earlier, that's like an actual like fist fight.
No.
It's always just verbal.
That's great. Like, and
or Cold War, where it's like, I haven't talked to them in the last 3 years,
Yeah. I just, I don't understand, like, what, is it like a new thing where people are just saying, oh, I'm just not going to be around people anymore? Because why are y'all still going around each other?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know you don't have to? Like.
Yeah, when it gets physical, that's definitely a line.
Like, how good is the turkey that you're willing to continue showing up for this? Because I just don't know. I don't know. That feels weird.
Maybe they're also serving ribs and ham and all that stuff too.
I guess.
It's just like a whole smorgasbord.
I don't know how good the food would have to be.
Listen.
I feel like I can think of immediately 15 different restaurants that I would like more than any Thanksgiving meal I've ever had.
Yes, we fight, but he's got the 87-inch TV, so... Yeah, he's got that automatic reclining chair, so
jeez, man, so weird.
All right, we should wrap this up.
Yes,
we've been going pretty long.
Yes,
but we can maybe do a couple more of these on our bonus.
Yes, we are gonna record the bonus. We didn't forget. I'm sure y'all thought maybe we were gonna forget. Maybe it was not gonna happen this month. It is. It's gonna happen. We just have had a fucking month. You know what I'm saying? We've had a damn month, and this month has flown, and I don't understand. But yeah, so that will be out by the end of the month. Do not worry. And if you, again, we'll say it again, if you would like to send, an ornament, whether you've made it, you found it, you thought we would like it, it made you laugh, anything like that. The P.O. Box is P.O. Box 115, Spokane Valley, Washington, 99037. We're going to be doing that on Sunday, December 3rd at noon Pacific time. Pretty sure we're just going to live stream it. That just feels like the least chaotic thing. But we invite y'all to also enjoy some Christmas spirit, whether that's a nice hot beverage or some Christmas music while you're also decorating your tree. We're going to put some ornaments on this one. We might even like have the kids come in and help with some of that stuff.
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
just gonna hang out for a
just
little
gonna be
bit.
like a very
I don't know how
chill.
long it'll be. We might even just sit down and chat too.
Yeah.
We only have the one tree. I mean, it's not going to take forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of hang out, maybe take some questions and
Yeah. So just be a little
Holiday
hang
hang.
sesh. So that'll be this coming Sunday, I think, which is so freaking wild. Yeah, if you have a story you'd like to send in, you can do that at mylife@brokennouthclub.com. If you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, highly recommend doing that. It's just Broken Youth Club on Facebook. It's a private group. Everybody's really sweet in there, especially people that talk about how much they love their kids and they're drawing tracks on the floor. My God. And what else? We'll have the hotline at the end of the show. And
I think that'll do it.
I think that's it. So here we are stumbling out. We're going to go get some blizzards and go look at
Christmas lights.
And we hope that you are also doing fun stuff like that. So we will catch you on the bonus episode.
See you guys.
Bye.